Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. Lee, how you doing? It is January 4th, 2024. Brand new year. How you
Yeah,
feeling?
I'm doing all right. I'm feeling good. I'm ready for this last week of football. How you feeling with the new year, my man?
I'm feeling pretty good. I got to spend some time with the family and get back to work.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah, I don't know, nothing to complain about
Yeah,
personally. Steelers
I
are
hear you.
winning. There's a
Yeah.
lot of drama going back and forth with the QBs. I
Um,
don't know how much you've been following at this point, but I'm over it at this point.
yeah,
Personally,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
final remarks you want to make on that, but if not, I'm ready to go into other topics myself.
I'm ready to go. I can't do the drama anymore.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Can't
so
do
I
it.
figure we can talk through these three topics today. It'll be a good idea. We got the Steelers Pro Bowlers and
Yeah.
any Pro Bowl snubs you might think about. Then
Hmm.
figure we talk a little about TJ Watt and potentially being the Defensive Player of the Year. And then I figure we'll go through the playoff scenarios, and within that, we'll talk about the Steelers Ravens game this weekend.
Sounds
That
good.
feels good for you, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sounds.
let's jump right into it. The Steelers had three Pro Bowlers this year: T.J. Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, and then Miles Killebrew as a special teamer. He was able to get that on him, which is deserving, I'd say. What do you think of those three guys? First,
I think they're great. Three good picks. I'm actually kind of shocked. About Killebrew, but I guess he's made a bunch of good plays on special teams.
yeah, a couple blocks, right, or at least one block.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
least one or two, or he was a
Oh.
part of two at least,
Mhm.
which he's done well. I think TJ is definitely a shoe in. He should definitely be
Yeah, I
there.
think that was the biggest lock for sure.
Yeah, and then Minka, I'm actually kind of shocked. Hasn't been the best year for him, but he is still a great safety. So it's good to see at least some players from the Steelers getting there. But it's a short list for us this year. Normally we see a lot more, but it's definitely a short list for the Steelers.
Yeah, it's been a weird year, but I don't think I was really surprised, like you, with the Minka one. He's had definitely a down year for himself, but maybe that's still good enough around the
Yeah,
league.
yeah,
And he's got a good enough reputation. Yeah, T.J. Watt was a slam dunk, like you were saying,
oh
and
yeah,
then yeah, Killebrew. From everything I can tell, everyone thinks he's a really good special teams guy.
yeah.
So I guess let's start talking about snubs. For me, I I don't think too many people can complain. Like our offense was not great this year.
No,
The
yeah,
one that seems to be the most glaring, I guess you can call it, is Boswell.
yeah,
Not making the Pro Bowl over Tucker. Tucker's got great name recognition. The Ravens are a great team, and Tucker's probably
yeah,
going to go down as maybe the best kicker of all time. You
yeah,
know, some people might give it to Vinatieri still because of all the clutch kicks in the playoffs and Super Bowls. But
yeah,
this year, I mean, Boswell's got better numbers. There's other kickers out there. Dicker, the kicker out there, has had a good year
yeah,
too.
yeah.
But yeah, Boswell seems to be the one. I just, the way our offense played this year, I can't see anyone in offense deserving. Um, I don't know if you saw George Pickens complaining on Instagram and all, did you?
No, I didn't see any of that. But the thing that I did see about George Pickens is that he only had like 50, I think 56 receptions this year, and he over
He's
1,000,
over 1,000, yeah.
which is kind of shocking to
It's
see. By
impressive.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's like 18.5 ish
yeah,
per catch is what it ended up averaging out to. But yeah, he's complaining that he should have been a Pro Bowler on Instagram. I mean, he's had a good year, especially
yeah,
with the constraints of this offense for sure.
yeah.
But I don't think he was a Pro Bowler compared to other players around the league.
I don't
But
either.
I don't know how you're feeling. Yeah, I think he is up there in yardage more than I thought. He might even be top 5 in yards, but that
Yeah.
other than that, he just doesn't match up with the other guys in this game, I don't think.
No, and we've only really seen. I mean, there was one big play in I think it was a Monday night game with the Browns, and then just the past 2 weeks with Mason and him getting some long touchdown passes. we haven't really seen too much explosiveness. Sorry, from George Pickens. Besides just a couple games this season, and I don't think. I mean, yeah, it's impressive what he's done with the number of receptions to get to 1,000 yards, but I don't think that he's been the Pro Bowl caliber player that he thinks he has been this whole season. Boswell, going off of that, I mean, he's only missed 2 field goals and an extra point this whole season. I mean, he's been pretty much surprised to see him miss it. I mean, we talked about it a few weeks ago. I think you brought it up about his field goal percentage, which I was actually shocked at how high he was. But he's been so good over the years with us, and it's just, again, it's shocking that he hasn't he isn't making it this year to the Pro Bowl. I mean, he's definitely been an elite kicker for us and for the league as well. But the popularity pretty much picks a lot of these Pro Bowl picks a lot. These years now.
Yeah, and one of his misses was a 61-yarder, I believe. So
yeah,
on top of the fact that he hasn't missed many,
which was
one of
the hardest kicks. Yeah, one of the hardest kicks to even make it at Acrisure Stadium. So it's just difficult.
Is there anyone else that you can think of? Me personally, between the injuries on defense and the poor offensive play, I can't see anyone else. Like someone like Hayward would be a Pro Bowler usually, but he's been hurt too much. Yeah. That's a part of the reason I was surprised with Minkah too, is just that. But I can't think of anyone really other than those guys.
I couldn't either. I mean, again, the offense hasn't been well. Too many injuries on the defense. Haven't seen anything explosive, anything crazy with a lot of the players. I mean, TJ's the only one that really I could think of that should be really there for sure. I mean, you could talk about Jaylen Warren and Najee, but I mean, it wasn't been too much going on. Yeah, they're both over 1,000 scrimmage this season, but not the explosive that we want to see every game for each of them. So, yeah, I can't really think of anybody else that may have been snubbed from the Pro Bowl for the Steelers this year.
Yeah, one name I just was thinking about. I don't think it's the case, but maybe if there's some guys that pull out and everything, it would be Joey Porter Jr. Maybe he's had a solid year as a rookie.
Yeah.
He has some name recognition. Maybe he sneaks his way in to a spot there.
Yeah,
I think his numbers have been good. I don't know how they compare to the rest of the league, but he's definitely played well, I would say, for the Steelers this year.
Yeah. And
is
the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl isn't even like what it is anymore.
No, it's like it's a bunch of games now. It's like I don't even know what to call it. Like a picnic, I guess.
Yeah, like that. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But how about we get back to TJ a little bit? Oh, you got something?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say it's just not as fun as it used to be. It is what it is now.
I get you for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll go and move on to talking about a little bit of TJ and his defensive player of the year. So his biggest competition is Myles Garrett, who seems to be the favorite.
Yeah.
I could also put Micah Parsons up here. He's actually considered the second favorite by Vegas right now, but TJ's third on that list. So I figured we just go. Oh, actually, I should apologize to Myles Garrett because I spelled his name wrong. It's Myles. So sorry, Myles, if you catch this.
Yeah, if you watch it,
I apologize.
We apologize.
I just caught that as I was sitting here.
That's all right.
I can change it here. But we have TJ against Myles up on the board here. These are the counting stats. And if you look at these counting stats, it's TJ all the way. And it's especially if you remember that TJ goes in coverage a lot more than Myles Garrett does. Myles is pretty much strictly a pass rusher. TJ has a lot more responsibilities, and his numbers across the board are better. The only thing he's trailing in is tackles for losses. But what are you thinking between these two? Just this is the first. Just look at the stats. We'll talk about the stats first, and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean the stats are just impressive. I mean he's all over the field. He's doing everything, and even at times when he's double blocked, he's still finding a way to make a play. Get an interception. Forced fumble, a sack, tackles for loss, things like that. deflecting the pass, that's thrown. I mean, he's all over the field. I mean, and yeah, the stats show it right there. And the fact that he's only down 1 tackle for loss behind Myles Garrett. I mean, how can you say that TJ Watt's the 3rd best defensive player with stats like that right now?
Yeah, it's crazy that it seems almost like a foregone conclusion already that Garrett's going to win this award.
Yeah.
If you talk to people and listen to what everyone's saying around the league, because I mean, the biggest thing is that everyone seems to think that Myles, he's making a big impact on the game, and this is the PFF grades, like the Pro Football Focus grades on the 2 guys. They're pretty much even, but the edge does go to Garrett on these grades here. As you can look there, overall, the defense is like an overall grade for them. Garrett's at a 93.6, TJ's at 91.5. You can look at the rest there. Anything on here jumps out to you?
I'm just kind of shocked at like his tackle is graded at 56.1.
Yeah, I probably should have
went.
I probably should have went and seen exactly how they grade out the tackle grades. I didn't. That's lazy on my part. But yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm guessing it's like compared to like. I'm guessing better grades would be like an elite middle linebacker. Maybe they'll have some better grades, or a safety or something. Will have some stronger grades. That is I should have looked into that better. I'll take a blame for that. But I do think we should be looking at the pass rush and the the overall grade and then the coverage are things that I look at. The pass rush, they give Garrett as a higher grade, even without the actual stats, the counting stats. They think that he's just winning on more attempts than TJ Watt is, and that's why he's given a higher grade. Which, I mean, sure. The way that PFF works is that they have guys that are watching each play and they're deciding on each play whether or not like a player's winning or whatever you want to call it, getting a pressure and all that. So I don't want to take away from the fact they're watching a lot of film, they're watching a lot of stuff, and they've come out that Garrett is better. But I mean, if he's so much better, why are the counting stats so much in TJ Watt's favor? And you have to give it in the fact that TJ's not for the percentage of plays that TJ is rushing is less than Myles Garrett's. So that does confuse me a little bit.
Yeah, that's what's strange to me too, because it's like you would think if somebody's higher graded, they'd be doing more on the field,
So one of the reasonings I've heard is that they think that Garrett sees more double teams and stuff like that. It's one of the things. I don't know where you were going to go at next, but that is one of the things they argue.
Okay, well then I guess that's I guess they're the ones that get paid to make the grade, so I guess they see what's going on. So that's what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and then one final thing, and I think this does sway towards Garrett a little bit more. Other than the one on top I'm about to show you is the team stats. Steelers defense still points per game allowed is only 19.6 compared to the Browns. It's 20.7. So the Steelers have given up fewer points, but other than that, the stats for the Browns defense are much better statistically than the Steelers. So I could see someone saying that this is due to Garrett's impact on the defense.
Yeah.
He maybe he's not getting those sacks, but he's leading to other players making plays. He's leading to incompletions where a quarterback's throwing the ball faster than he needs to, or faster than he would want to, because Garrett's in there rushing him. That's something I can see people arguing too. But if you look at these other than points per game is probably the most important stats. Everything else is definitely on the Browns defense side here.
Oh yeah, for sure. From what I'm seeing right now, yeah, for sure.
And it's not even like you can argue the Steelers have had leads and stuff like that, because the offense hasn't been scoring. So
yeah, for sure. That's the other thing.
So yeah,
it's crazy to see these stats like that. Even I thought that they said last week in that game that the Steelers have more takeaways than the Brown or in the league right now, but I guess by this per game, I guess
Yeah, they got
don't.
them. The Browns have the Steelers by a little bit here. If you multiply that out, it's what is that?
Oh,
Like
okay.
an extra two takeaways maybe. Yeah, it'd be about two.
Pretty
two
much,
more
yeah,
takeaways.
almost a game. Yeah,
So, yeah, that
yeah.
the way I see it here is the way if we're looking at this, I guess the idea is that the impact that Garrett makes on the defense and on the offense is more valuable than what TJ has done this year. I guess that's what people are
Yeah,
going with. I don't know if they're going with the fact that the Browns have a better record, but what's your hypothesis on why it seems like a slam dunk
Yeah,
that Miles Garrett's going to win the award?
I'm kind of thinking they just didn't want to give it to TJ again. I think they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we see how much of an impact he is on the field. Maybe we should give it to somebody else who's doing as well this year. And Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett have been phenomenal players as well on the defense this year and for their teams. And I can't knock them for saying that they shouldn't be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. But I mean, us as Steelers fans, we don't watch the Cowboys and Browns religiously, but us as Steelers fans see what TJ has done and brought to this defense. I mean, he's been the guy on the whole team, on the whole defense doing anything. I mean, could you say that for what's his name? Now Micah Parsons, could you say that he'd be doing the same thing if Bland wasn't getting all the interceptions and the Cowboys defense wasn't doing well? Could you say that Myles Garrett was the guy for the Browns defense when the Browns defense has been one of the top leading defenses in the league? Is it him? Look at what TJ's been doing for the Steelers, and the Steelers are on the field, all game under 20 points a game. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of it seems like there's just a lot of nitpicking with a lot of the stats and how these people that are paid to do this pick what they want to see from players on the field. I still think TJ's the guy, and but we'll see what happens this final week. Maybe he comes out and gets 6 sacks against the Ravens.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it's official or not. You have to think Joe Flacco is not starting. You would assume that Garrett's probably not going to play either. Because the Browns aren't playing for anything really. So it's probably the end of the season for Garrett, and TJ's playing in a big game. So you're right. If he comes out and gets 3 sacks, maybe that's enough to sway some voters. But maybe it is. Maybe it's tough to switch a narrative, and maybe that's just how it was where people decided at some point this season that this is going to be Garrett's year, and then he stopped getting sacks. He hasn't gotten many sacks at all in the last few games, but it already got to the point where people were saying that he's the difference maker, and the Browns are winning still. So I think that's just what happens sometimes. People just get on there. And then the other thing they talk about is the system the Steelers run makes it so easy for TJ, which is a little crazy to think about when you just see how much he's doing on the field, what all he has to do. You can see his helmet's getting ripped off on plays, and he's still going around and getting sacks and stuff like that. It's just a little easier to say how easy it is than to actually go out and do what he's doing, I think.
For sure. I mean, let me ask you, you think who do you think should be Defensive Player of the Year out of those 3?
I would go with TJ. Here's my thought on all. The stats that they're looking at for Garrett that he's good at, I think those are more about predicting the future or suggesting who is the better player. I don't think it's showing who's had the better season. TJ Watt's had the better season. He has more sacks. He has more hurries. He has 1 less tackle for loss. He has an interception that Garrett doesn't have. I think it should be about who had the better season, not who you think is the best player. I think there's a difference there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. So when you think of most valuable player, you think of the person that's bringing the most value to their team. Who has had the better season to bring their team and make more valuable plays and be a more valuable player to that team? I mean, the Browns have had a good season this year. The Cowboys have had a good season this year. The Steelers haven't. Yet TJ has been bringing so much value to the defense that I feel as though he's had the better season than those other two players for Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett. I mean, yes, they're great players as well. But the Cowboys are, look at where they're at seated in the playoffs right now. Look at where the Browns are seated in the playoffs this year. They've had better seasons with better teams. The Steelers haven't had a great team this year. TJ Watt has been more valuable to the Steelers than I think Myles Garrett has been for the Browns or Micah Parsons has been for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I'm with you. I just think that TJ has been the best player on defense this year, and that's why he should be the defensive player of the year. I almost said most valuable player, but MVP is a whole other discussion where I'm a little confused why it has to be a quarterback these days, but that's a topic for another day. But how about we finish this off by talking about these playoff scenarios? Let's go one by one here. The first one we can talk about is the Steelers winning and the Bills losing. So how about we leave the Steelers game for last, but what are your thoughts on the Bills and whether or not they will lose this week?
Well, I mean, it's going to be tough because I think the Dolphins already have a playoff spot. So are they going to play everybody? I don't know. I mean, the Bills are trying to vie for a playoff spot, so they're going to be playing everybody. So they're going to be coming out and playing. I think the Bills could lose this game, but if the Dolphins don't start everybody that they want to that going to be starting for the playoffs, I think that the Bills may win because they're trying to do everything they can to make the playoffs. So that one might be tough.
I'm not too worried about the Dolphins not playing anyone because they are in the playoffs, but they haven't locked up the division yet. If the Bills win the division and get that higher seed. So the Dolphins, Dolphins lost. Man, that means that they're going to be on the road first week rather than having a home game. So I actually do think that the Dolphins will be playing everyone, and I think this game's pretty much a toss-up. I think the Dolphins want to get back in a groove after getting destroyed by the Ravens, and of the teams we're about to discuss that are vying for playoff spots, I think that the Bills are probably the best. They have the best odds of winning the Super Bowl if they get in, but I actually think they have the best chance of losing this week of these teams we're about to talk about. I think they're the one that, if I had to guess, I would say the Bills will lose to the Dolphins this week. For me, that's the game I'm thinking. Even though I think that they are the best team between the teams we're about to mention, meaning the Bills, the Jaguars, and then even if you throw in the Colts and the Texans and the Steelers, I'll say but I think the matchups in the Steelers' favor for this year with the Dolphins. But scenario number 2 is the Steelers win and the Jaguars either lose or tie against the Titans. How are you feeling about this matchup here?
I don't think it's going to be a tie.
Nah.
That one, I don't think it's going to be a tie. I don't think it's going to be a tie. The Titans could be like, we've already been eliminated. Let's see if we can spoil someone's day. That would be great. That one, I'm a little more concerned with that game than I am the Dolphins and Bills game. I do think the Jaguars may win that.
You got them over there. You saw that I said tie or loss, right? Just to make sure. If the Jags lose, it also is in the Steelers' favor.
Yeah. I don't think that they'll lose, though. Cool. I don't think they'll lose.
Yeah, I got you.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Think they'll lose.
The two things I look at that could be helpful is that Lawrence is coming back off off an injury. Maybe he's not as sharp as he needs to be.
Yeah.
And I think the Titans are going to play hard. I think Vrabel's going to have them out there, and they're going to be trying to win, and they're going to try to play spoiler. I think he's the kind of coach that really would want to get that win to spoil someone's season, and he'll really motivate his guys to do that.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars they haven't been the greatest team all year. They've been shaky at times. They've been good at times. So I think it's a game that the Titans can win. I think you're right that it's less likely, at least for me, than the Bills game. I don't know. You're not very confident in the Bills game either, huh?
I want to say the Dolphins will play everybody and win that game, but
Uh-huh.
I don't think they will.
Okay, here's when we get a little more wacky. Here's the first
All
wacky
right.
one here. Scenario 3: Steelers win and the Texans and the Colts tie. I know how you feel about the ties already, so we don't have to spend too
Yeah,
much
that's
time
not
on this one.
not happening either. That would be like a blue moon happening, for the Steelers. Just a
Uh-huh.
tie between the Texans and I don't see it happening. Somebody's winning that game.
So, here we go, even wackier. Steelers Ravens tie. The Jaguars lose.
Oh God.
And then the Texans and the Colts do not tie. So that's scenario number 4.
This might be the one that does it for us. I could see the Steelers tying the Ravens. I could just see it happening.
That would be a fun way to see the season go.
Oh, goodness gracious. I could, that might be the scenario that does it.
That you're looking for?
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And now,
out of all those, though, maybe the first one might be the better one, but yeah.
I got one more for you.
Oh, there's another one? You got one more?
Yeah.
Oh, one more.
Okay,
here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
This one involves the Broncos also. So we need the Steelers, whether they win or lose is irrelevant on this one. Broncos have to win. The Jaguars have to lose, and then either and one of the Colts or Texans have to lose. They can't end in a tie there. So here's the final one there. So take the Steelers out of it completely. We just need a Broncos win against the Raiders, Jaguars loss, and Texans not to tie. So the only thing we haven't talked about on this page would be the Broncos Raiders. How are you feeling about the Broncos Raiders?
Well, what's his name? Russell Wilson isn't playing. So
yeah, they sent him.
I don't know what's going to happen with that game.
I think it's Jarrett Stidham in his place. Let me double check.
Yeah. I mean, there's a possibility they could win, but I mean, I think they're still in the hunt as well, but maybe they're trying to get a winning season under Sean Payton, but without Russell Wilson, I don't see them winning against the Raiders. I just don't.
Yeah, it is Jarrett Stidham, who hasn't had much to talk about in his career to this point. The Raiders aren't a great team, right? But they have been playing a lot better under the interim coach Antonio Pierce. So yeah, I don't want to rely on the Broncos especially without Russell Wilson. But I mean, I don't think that's out of question either. I really think this might be a scenario. If I had to rank these scenarios, I wouldn't have this one last on the list of possibilities. It might be my third.
Yeah, I would.
Most likely. I don't know. I just like the idea of not having to rely on the Steelers to win.
Yeah, I think
win. So all right, Lee. Going through the scenarios. How are you feeling? Who do you think is going to win this game between the Steelers and the Ravens, and why?
I don't want to say the Steelers will win. I mean, yeah, Lamar's not playing. A lot of their starters are probably not going to be playing. Mason Rudolph has come in, and he has been almost a godsend these past 2 weeks for the Steelers. This is a game the Steelers could win if they're really trying to get that final playoff spot. They really need to come out and play. We might be playing against the second team for the Ravens. Again, we could still lose because it's the Ravens. It's going to be tough. It's just going to be really tough in this game. I want to say they'll win, but I don't want to. I don't want to
jinx it.
Blow it up, and I don't want to jinx it. Yeah.
So I'm looking at it like
I don't know what's gonna happen.
everything is going the Steelers' way for this game. I mean, everything. We're getting
Yeah.
Minka back. We're
Yeah.
getting Roberts back. It's not just Lamar sitting.
Yeah.
It's a lot of guys sitting for the Ravens this week. But when I sit there and I'm thinking, what if the Cinderella story of Rudolph, the clock strikes midnight and everything turns back to a pumpkin, and we're looking at a team that has lost to the Cardinals, has lost to the Patriots. This is definitely going to be the best defense that Rudolph has faced in these 3 games. I think that's even the case with the sit-outs that might happen this week. And the one last question I'll have for you is, who would you pick between the Cardinals and the Ravens this week if you already knew that Lamar was sitting and the Ravens were going to sit there, guys? I think I'm still picking the Ravens over the Cardinals, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I'd pick the Ravens. Yeah, for sure.
And the Patriots, I think, would be even more stronger in the favor of picking the Ravens on that game. So the Steelers' worst can still lose to these Ravens, and that does concern me. I am worried. But I will. I said I wasn't going to do this again for the rest of the season, but everything the way it's going, I just thought I have to say the Steelers will win this game, and I am going to go even crazier. I'm going to say they're going to win by double digits. I'm going to go 23-10 final for this game. Steelers win.
Okay. Yeah, I'm nervous, but I think the Steelers want to prove that they can win and at least play a playoff game. So I think they're going to win too. And I'm going to go even crazier, and I shouldn't do it. I'm going to go even crazier. The way they've been playing with Mason, I'm going to say 33-17 Steelers over the Ravens.
Oh no. Third straight 30-point game, right?
Yep, I think it's going to happen.
So we both think they're going to win, but the big question is, will they make the playoffs? What's your prediction on whether or not the Steelers will make the playoffs?
I think we might have some better odds in our favor with all those 5 different scenarios. I think they're going to do it. It may be the Dolphins or Chiefs they play, but I think they're going to do it.
Like I
think they'll do it. I think they'll do it.
I think I've said it for a couple weeks. If they go 10-7, they will win, or they will make the playoffs. And I just predicted them to win, so I have to say yes. I also have them in the playoffs. And we're gonna have more football to watch for the rest of the year. So I think that's a good spot to wrap it up on, Lee.
Can't wait
to see it either.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I can't wait.
Hopefully we get to talk positively this Saturday after the game on our post-game show.
Hope so.
Yep.
Sounds good.
I'll see you, Lee.
I'll see you. Have a good one.